Hello, my name is Jessica Liechty, and I am sharing the convoluted call to education that has been my experience. So, early on, I did have literacy challenges, and this was mainly due to the fact that having a hybrid environment in the 90s was common. At least where I lived, it was common. So I was the youngest of my class because the cutoff date was in December, and that is when my birthday was on the cutoff date, December 2nd. So I ended up in a hybrid class for first and second graders as the youngest first grader. So I had a great difficulty learning how to decode. In fact, I would memorize books at a young age, but then that charade doesn't really last once you get to the time when you're actually learning to decode. So I had a really difficult time when I'm around all these peers that are older than me, able to decode, and it was really frustrating. So it was actually recommended that I be held back. Thankfully, my mom didn't do that. She was a teen mom and she just wanted to see me be successful. So I went to summer school and got a tutor and then was able to decode and found confidence in that. So those are my earliest experiences with learning to decode. And so the game changed once I got to middle school. I was always kind of the middle of the road. I worked really hard, but wasn't quite to the caliber of my peers. A lot of my friends were strong students and they were older than me, obviously, because I was the youngest. But by the time I hit eighth grade, I ended up placing in an honors English class. I didn't ever view myself as um, being in those classes, but at that point, that was a surprise for me. Then my confidence started to increase. That teacher is the teacher that inspired me to become a teacher. She was incredible. I remember her to this day. I've thanked her since then many times, but she pushed us, held us accountable, and we were reading advanced texts that many students don't read till 11th or 12th grade these days. So that is the class that changed me and taught me that, it's your mindset that can really set you back. Like where you view yourself is you kind of create your own barrier and it's psychological. So that was huge for me when I realized the hard work did pay off and to not get in my own way. So later that year, I ended up writing an essay that placed me in honors English for ninth grade, and then that is the trajectory I had for ninth grade. So everything changed in middle school for me. And speaking of middle school, that is where I started, was at the middle school. So I ended up getting my English credential from San Jose State, and I got kind of scouted for this position because a teacher was going on maternity leave. So they just kind of scouted me out of the program, asked people who were just finished their credential, and I was on that list. So then they interviewed me. I did not think I was going to get it. And then they said, "You are starting in a week." So that was kind of scary at the time, but I learned a lot of valuable lessons from starting mid-year at a middle school. I was there for 5 years. I ended up, after that year, going and getting my SPED credential from San Jose State. And I taught at that same middle school for 5 years. So through COVID and all of that, I learned quite a bit. I taught SAI reading, I taught SAI English. So it was rewarding because, again, that imposter syndrome hit. And because I did not know I could teach people how to read, wasn't sure if I could do it. And then here I had students that were able to decode in social science classes and in English classes, building that confidence. So it was really rewarding to be a part of that journey. And then I moved from Santa Cruz, from teaching in San Jose to San Diego, where I have taught for 2 years at a high school. And I mainly work with 12th graders. And that in itself has been the most rewarding because, you know, I get to see folks that maybe think of themselves as some kind of student or just labeled as a special ed student and to see their mindset shift to be able to be disciplined and to be able to comprehend these more complex texts. It has been rewarding. I have really high standards, and those standards, they'll meet you wherever you set that standard. So I have loved it. So far, I love 12th grade. And then eventually I plan to get my admin credential as well. I did skip over the last slide, which um, I was the first to finish college as well in my family. So, and back in the day in the 90s, they said, oh, you have to go to college. And for me, it was hard to think about that or manifest that because my mom was a teen mom and that pathway seemed kind of convoluted and no one had done it in my family before, so that was a really big deal. So finished at UCSC, went to San Jose State, and then San Diego State is obviously where I am now. So thank you if you made it this far for listening, and I hope you all have a great evening.